Week 4 was ridiculous. From the first game to the very last game, I covered all 57. Let's go. Amazing uniform matchup, first of all. Need more color rush in college football. This game was closer than it looked. Charlotte just couldn't finish drives in the red zone. By the way, Rice runs a triple option now. Bet you didn't know that. Getting slide by Oregon on the road is cool. I'll give you the pass. But Tulsa, Mike Gundy, your seat is hot. Oklahoma State couldn't tackle in the first half. It might be the worst film session ever on Monday. Fans were booing. Tulsa led 19-3 and could have blown the doors off of this game. They were better on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Death taxes in Iowa special teams. Holy smokes, Caden Wheatgen, 100 yards to start the game. 2 minutes later, Rutgers walks down and scores. This was a sick back and forth party, but the Hawkeyes D stepped up in the fourth, forcing a critical pick. Mark Gronowski, 3-touchdown game. This is Dabo Swinney's quote: "If they're tired of winning, they can send me on my way because that's all we've done is win." How do you not get your team ready to play after a 1-2 start and a bad game against Troy? Syracuse throttled you from the beginning. You couldn't help yourself out with penalties. Cade Klubnik has accuracy problems. Clemson, you are now Florida State 2024. You can either talk about your rings of the past or move on. Louisville was down about 1,000 running backs and receivers, just giving guys from the local Walmart a helmet and some pads, and they still got it done. To help when your special teams is elite. 75-yard punt return tutty and a 57-yard field goal bomb from Helen Keller. No, it's actually Nick Keller I'm playing. Army was at the mean green 6-yard line, first and goal, just 24 seconds left, a touchdown to win, and UNT forces a field goal with a nutty goal line stand, sending it to OT, and you can't give a decent team a second chance. Now, the score wasn't indicative of the game flow. It was a back and forth defensive slugfest until the fourth quarter. That Tech defense was worth every NIL penny. The Utes' identity is run. They only got 3.3 yards per carry on the ground. Quarterback Devin Dampier threw 2 picks, and they may have found a new star. Will Hammond took over in the third quarter, and shortly after, the Red Raider offense went ballistic. USF, no shame in losing to Miami last week. Just go out and take care of business, which they did. Mac Harris, 93-yard pick 6 to break the seal. Now, this is how a fan base should be. Oregon State, please take notes. Virginia Tech, 0-3, interim head coach a week after getting waxed by Old Dominion, and they run a sellout and, of course, get the W. All right, I'll let the highlights run. I want to talk to you guys about the future of the Iron Skillet rivalry. TCU doesn't want to play this anymore, and this was the last ever scheduled game between the two. You know why? The Horned Frogs would rather play another FCS or Group of 5 tune-up before conference play. Seriously, they don't think a home-and-home is advantageous. Instead, it's too much for them to lose. I think this is mad lame. Nearly a catastrophic loss for the Mountain West against a winless team. The Rebels trailed 24-10 at half, 37-24 in the fourth quarter until a late rampage. Oh man, this game had kick return touchdowns, multiple pick sixes, all the drama until the game-winning field goal by UNLV. Good fight by the Red Hawks. What did I say in the last video about Wisconsin? Their program is in the mud right now. Fire fickle chants and boos from the crowd in Madison. Wow, the Terps are fun to watch this year though with their vertical passing attack. They're 4-0. They had 4 wins in 2024. The game started like this. Oh, sorry, Memphis. Taylon Green and the SEC physicality and speed is too much for you, but no. Memphis battled. They played cleaner football than Arkansas and ran the ball much better. Arkansas once again had the ball late with a chance to go ahead, and they fumbled just exactly like last week against Ole Miss. That is tough. Memphis now has a 70th ranked SOS and a very high chance of reaching the playoff. When UAB's coach Trent Dilfer was taking pics to send to the family group chat before the game, you already knew what was going to happen in this one. Central held Wagner to 115 total yards while their offense went crazy and had some big plays like the one you see here. I'm still perplexed on how Malik Murphy cost $1.5 million for the Beavs. He's not in a great situation, but missing 7 to 10 open receivers, come on. Oregon could have won 80-0, but they remember they have to face Penn State in a wideout next game. Billy, welcome to college football where it's not easy, and I find it weird that you're making out with your 25-year-old girlfriend on the sideline. Does this mean UCF's a great team? No, they'll probably be 7-5. It's still way too early to judge the Chapel Bill experiment though, but this could be a horrible, horrible year. Yes, Notre Dame got a win. We can finally now rank them. Oh, wait, I'm still very concerned because the defense used to be the pride of the Irish literally last year, but 32 Purdue, they're much improved, but man, you got to get better. If Notre Dame is able to run, they'll score 50 every game. I was buying the Green Wave hype. 2 Power 4 wins already. Ole Miss hasn't had an amazing defense coming off an emotional win, but hotty toddy, they rolled in all facets. Tulane quarterback Jake Retzloff got harassed by the front, and Ole Miss former backup, now possibly starter Trinidad Chambliss went off again. They have LSU at home next week. Things could get a little sexy. What a way to grab your first win. Western Michigan was down 13-0 late in the third, then pulled within 1 with 13 seconds left, and instead of going for the tie at overtime, the Broncos dropped their nuts on the family dinner table and converted the 2-point attempt, baby. Ohio Skibbity Toilet 6-7, 6-7. I didn't even know FSU played this weekend. No one talked about that. Everyone is just waiting for that Miami game on the 4th of October, the ACC game of the year. The battle for the great state of Virginia. Once Caden Salter left, Liberty hasn't been the same. 7 of 21 passing for 75 yards in this game. JMU was extremely efficient with their offense. Buffalo had 7 sacks, and they still lost. Troy scored all 21 of their points in the 4th quarter, including a game-winning tutty with under a minute to go. That is brutal. You have to feel for Nebraska. If you don't, you're a bad person. They've lost 27 straight games against ranked opponents. Dylan Raiola had a fantastic showing, 30 of 41, 3 touchdowns in front of the GBR home fans, a Hail Mary to end the first half, and you come up short. Michigan's defense got after the quarterback and had a couple massive plays on the ground. Justice Haynes ran for 8 a carry. Bryce Underwood didn't have to do much. He only completed 8 passes. I spend a long time editing these videos, so I don't always have the time to cook healthy food. That's where Factor Meals comes in extremely clutch, like 9.5-inch Haynes King on a game-winning drive. Life gets busy this time of year. You've got all the games to keep up with, possibly school or college, or your 3rd wife and kids screaming at you. Don't fall into the trap of eating junk food or takeout. Eating clean is so easy thanks to Factor. Fresh, never frozen meals delivered right to your door every week. Pop them in the fridge when it's time to eat, 2 minutes in the microwave, and boom, that's it. No refined seed oils, no refined sugars, just real food from Factor. Now, your team still sucks, but at least you feel healthy and look great to pull all the fine huzz. Factor helps me do it all and be the best version of myself. Now I have enough time to make content for you guys, absolutely dominate on the pickleball court, watch the Beavers lose 69-0, and be the sexiest man alive. I want you to be the best version of yourself this fall too, so I'll hook you up. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code ShenanigansFB50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code ShenanigansFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free breakfast for a year. Holy moly, OU is scary. Who in their right mind would want to face that D-line? 9 fucking sacks. Jackson Arnold didn't play a bad game. He did the best he could, but everyone else let him down, including their O-line, and penalties on the final drive. OU has lost the turnover battle in every game this season and haven't even forced a turnover yet and are still winning at a high level. I'm impressed by both of these teams. UConn sealed it with a big Cam Edwards touchdown run late, but they still look lackluster compared to the 2024 team. Back and forth the entire game, but Eastern prevails on a late field goal, notching their first win of the year. Let's go. For Duke, unforced turnovers killed them in the first 2 losses, so if they won the turnover battle, they'd probably take this game, and that's exactly what happened. NC State gave it away 4 times to Duke 0. That was the difference. Early on, things were looking scary. It looked like State was going to pull a typical State, but 292 on the ground. The Bulldogs are 4-0. Yes, that's real. The first time since 2014. Who remembers that? That's when they were the first ever #1 ranked team in the CFP. Georgia Tech is so good against top teams under Brent Key, and they are notorious for losing to teams they should beat. So great, you got past Temple, but please do not do some dumb shit and lose on the road to Wake Forest. San Jose State, you almost got put on a poster by an FCS in week 4, but shout out to Spartans field goal kicker Dennis Lynch for the game-winning kick, because he missed 2 game winners already this season, and this is a bounce back. Last time I saw Akron look this dominant is when I rebuilt them on my NCAA dynasty. Kennesaw scored basically all of their points in the first quarter and just held on to the lead for dear life the rest of the game. That's it. Their quarterback Amari Odom put up 300 in the air and 100 on the ground. Just because Kansas lost to Mizzou, an underrated SEC team, doesn't mean they're done. The Jayhawks offense is no joke and can score it on anyone. I'm not saying they'll win the Big 12, but they'll at least shock a few teams in the race like they did last year. Delaware is brand new to the FBS this year, and they're 3-1. They could be like 2023 JMU. How about some help from the special team? 68-yard punt return. Remember when everyone penciled in Boise State to make the playoffs again this year? Of course, Genty is gone, but their defense has also regressed mightily. 37 points to 1-1 triple option Air Force, who basically held the ball the entire game, but Broncos running back Dylan Riley did go crazy. The game was so good, they didn't even post highlights to YouTube. I am tired of this. Murray State's 0-4, lost to 2 FCS teams and 2 FBS teams, but they had to get a bag for sure. Coastal had about the worst performance ever last week. Then they go on the road, rally late, take advantage of an 11-yard South Alabama Alabama punt and an interception to get the conference win. Lenoris Sellers this, Lenoris Sellers that. Missouri has one of the best running backs in the country, Ahmad Hardy, who puts up another 100-yard rushing performance this year. The Tigers physically dominated up front. South Carolina had -9 rushing yards. -9. You can't have Sellers do everything. My heart goes out to Nevada fans. They blew a fourth-quarter lead last week to Middle Tennessee and did it again this week. Western was down 13-10 in the fourth and scored 3 straight touchdowns, including the icing on the cake, a 48-yard kickoff return to the house. Maine, you got destroyed, but hey, check out this 76-yard pick six. There were some big plays early on in this one, but Marshall stormed back and scored 21 unanswered to win easily. Louisiana Tech did not score in the second half, but they didn't need to. Too many big plays for Southern Miss to hang around. BYU unfortunately allowed their first touchdown of the season. Wow, you guys suck. And their rush defense, which has been one of the best in the country, gave up over 100 yards. I love that this rivalry still feels competitive. Although Washington was in the Big Ten, they lost the Apple Cup last year, and for 3 quarters it was a competitive game. But that UW offense does not run out of steam. They've scored on every possession this year. Damon Williams, 5 total touchdowns. I was right about Illinois, y'all. I was saying this all in the last few videos. I have receipts. 6 3-and-outs in a row in the first half for the Illini. Wow, they're supposed to be physical. A Brett Bielema team. 2 rushing yards, got sacked 7 times, 10 plays blown up, and 312 on the ground allowed to IU. Kurt Signetti, all he does is win. He is the opposite of Dabo. He backs up the talk in 2025. Fernando Mendoza almost threw a perfect game. 0 for 13 on third downs. Have you ever seen a team win going 0 for 13 on third downs? No, of course Florida lost. Now this was a close game pretty much the whole way. Florida played clean on offense, which was a necessity after the 5-interception atrocity at LSU, but they could not move the ball. Credit to Miami's defense, which is probably the best in college football right now. Vandy is breaking so many program records this year. Another one on Saturday. Most points in 107 years. For the benefit of the NCAA, they should make a deal that Diego Pavia gets unlimited eligibility. Stanford returns back to life after a shocking home win versus BC last week. 37 rushing yards. Andrew Luck is the GM, but bro, you got to go suit up yourself at this point. Chandler Morris, what an absolute green bean of a touchdown pass. A must win for ASU. The Big 12 is so evenly matched that Baylor, just with the way the tables have turned, could finish with 4 or 5 losses, and they're at the same level as ASU, who still could be a contender. MVP of the game, Jesus Gomez, the kicker, who went 4 for 4 with the winner as well. Southeastern Louisiana. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it here. Please, no more FCS versus FBS game. Utah State's drive lasted like 30 seconds each. Gas play after gas play. 30 seconds is a long time for some people, right? Rivalry you probably didn't know about called the Battle for the Paddle. Well, Texas State took that paddle straight to the ass of Nichols. Arch Manning played better today. There's a part of me that thinks Texas was just trolling the last few weeks for extra motivation, and it feels weird to see them almost drop out of the top 10. ULM nearly choked in legendary fashion. They led 31-10 in the fourth, and UTEP locked in to no avail. It's hard to win while you're averaging 1.2 yards per carry on the ground. Oh my goodness. CSU scored a touchdown with 29 seconds left in the game to tie and go to OT. But oh wait, no! They tried to put their nuts on the table as well with a 2-point conversion, but it backfired. UTSA escapes on the road. Colorado played a meh game, a C+ game. Wyoming hung around until the end and gave an admirable fight. Caden Salter is back starting for the Buffs now. The Ryan Staub experiment didn't last long. Cal was favored by 14 in this game. No one saw SDSU winning, and wow, what a great defensive game plan from the Aztecs. They made Cal star freshman quarterback so uncomfortable that he threw multiple interceptions, including a pick 6, and he had to get benched. Michigan State fans, you stayed up till 2:30 a.m. I applaud it. USC is scary this year. They have a balanced attack. Yeah, they can run. They have some of the best wide receivers in college football after the catch, and they can get after the quarterback on defense. They kept a comfortable lead almost the entire game, but I think MSU hung in there, and they are very much improved from last year. What a way to end the night for the Bulldogs. They sealed it with a massive 59-yard pick 6, and they're in a good position to push for the Mountain West title with no clear favorite, and they have a first-year head coach, Matt Entz.